Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Irish Whiskey review with me, Murray Macaulay. I hope you all had a good Christmas. Hope you all had a good New Year. I took a little bit of a hiatus from doing the whiskey reviews. Really, it gave myself a little bit of a break to do some other stuff as well. So, on top of writing the reviews, whiskey reviews for the Sunday Life newspaper, doing the live broadcast with Justin on a Saturday night, Justin and I have now launched a weekly Wednesday whiskey podcast. I'm on Spotify, we're on Anchor, we're all over the place, and I've been sort of having to gather together stuff for that. I've had some other stuff going on, so it's been a few days since I've done a review. Just move the pen out of the way. And I thought I would kick off the new year with this rather good Red Silkie. Now, we have the ordinary Silkie. I say ordinary, I hate calling it ordinary. But we have the traditional Silkie, the core Silkie, the always available Silkie. We have that. Then we had the dark Silkie, and now we have this. Now, the Silkie for me is a little bit strange. It's a blend, and it's a blend of double distilled, triple distilled, and peated malts with soft grained whiskey. So it's triple distilled, double distilled, and a little bit of peat, grain, and malt in there. So I likened the dark Silkie to a jazz band where there was lots of different things going on in it, and really they shouldn't have worked, but they do, and it was really well crafted whiskey. And this is of a similar ilk, but this is finished in red wine casks. Now, it comes in a nice tube, and it pays a little bit of homage to another one that we've reviewed before. It pays a little bit of homage to someone similar that has been paid homage to before, i.e. Red Hugh O'Donnell, who the Red Earl is something very similar. This was in production before Red Earl appeared up, but this is, our Silkie comes from the silver strand of Malin. She dances in the soft moonlight, unaware of the handsome young fishermen watching her. Their eyes meet, their love is set. The Red Silkie Irish whiskey is inspired by these legends and that of the Donegal nobleman Red Hugh O'Donnell, who journeyed to Zamora in 1602 to secure the support from King Philip of Spain, but who died in Simancas. I'm beginning to really need glasses. Simancas before he could return with his army. The Red Silkie has been finished in Ribera del Duero and Rioja casks for the bold wine character they bring to the soft, honeyed and apple green notes of the legendary Silkie blend. Now, bold Rioja. I have to say, Rioja is one of my favourite red wines. I really like that big punchy fruitiness that it comes with. So, I think that I have opened this, I've tried this. Now, anyone who's seen my review of the Silkie will know that I think it gets better the longer you have it open. When you get a bottle, get it and open it, have a couple, and you'll probably go, I'm not sure. Let it sit. And as you go down it, it just gets better and better and better. Okay? Now, I keep having to check some stuff because we've got new recording equipment, and we keep trying to check this. All of this stuff's very complicated. I leave the techie stuff normally to Justin, but I do try some of this, and I bought a lens and it didn't really work that well. Anyway, Santa came to me, brought me a couple of bits and pieces, so I have better sound, hopefully. I hopefully have a better visual, but we just have to check. Now, 46%. Now, James, who owns and runs the Silkie brand, currently building their distillery. Really, there's been a few complications along the way. They are distilling their own spirit, but it's not in the distillery where they want to do it, and there's a delay. And now they've got the distillery on the way. If you go onto Twitter, onto the Sleeve League Distillery, and keep up to date with it, you'll love it, because he's always active on Twitter, and he watches our show on a Saturday night. Lovely fella, lovely chap. But what he did let slip was it's 46%. Okay, it's got a real nice colour to it. Hang on, do we get a little bit of paper? Okay, you see a nice colour? And that's obviously going to come from the Rioja casks, from the red wine. He let slip, it's 46%. People say that's good that you keep it above that it's non-chill filtered and it helps the purists and blah blah blah. He let slip that really it was because he can't afford a chill filtration system. Not just yet, anyway. But when they did the crowdfunding to build a distillery, such is the enthusiasm for this brand that they smashed it. Absolutely smashed what they wanted to raise. They were the 5th biggest crowdfunded project in Europe. That's the confidence that there is. And that tells you just what people think of this. Now, on the nose, lots of wine, quite jammy, almost heading towards a sherry cask, but it's not a sherry cask. You're getting a lot of different, slightly milder flavours coming in rather than the jamminess of the sherry. And you can get that little bit of peat coming through. It's a slight afterthought, but it's definitely coming through, and it's given it a little bit more character, a little bit more of something to work with. You'll get it, and you'll not quite know what it is. There's a sweet note to it, but I'm talking about a candy note, not jam. It's lighter than that. It comes through as maybe a slight bit of jam over the top of a bit of toast, where you're getting that baked, cooked, caramelized bread note, caramelized cereal, with the sweetness coming over the top of it. It's really quite interesting. If that bottle was down here, this would have a totally different character to it again. This is really good. It's really good because you can play with it. You get that different character coming through. What do you mean by character? You mean the style of it. What way is it delivered? Does it have a heavy body, a light body, a nice fruity nose? The character can stay the same, and the flavours differ, but the character stays the same. And the Silkie has a character. There's a lot going on that could very easily not work, but it does. It's really blended quite well. There's a freshness to this. This probably isn't ideally suited for a wet January. It's been raining here all day. It's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. There's a risk of flooding. This isn't really for this time of year, if I'm honest. It's much more early summer, late summer, heading possibly into autumn or fall if you're in the States. And there's even a slight mintiness to this that comes through. Yeah, but there's a lot to this. lots of cereal coming through. But again, that sweetness coming off the wine. Ooh, little touch of fire there. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. There's a nice chili pepper kick there. Lovely. I actually wasn't expecting that, because the last two nips I had out of this, it didn't really come through like that. But there's a real nice kick. That 46% is punchy enough. Yeah, this could take probably a good teaspoon and a half of water if you really wanted to work with it. Take it down. I didn't bring. I come to these very unprepared. I sat down, just decided to record one, and I'm never as prepared as I should be. But again, nice amount of cereal, but also that lovely sweetness that's really quite pleasant sweet. It's like you're baking a dessert. It's not thick and treacly, or thick and overly sweet and saccharine, or very sugary. This is a real nice sweetness, like a natural sweetness. It's nowhere near. It's possibly a little bit like a baked red apple coming over. There's a slight mint on the nose that when it comes into the tongue and onto the follow through, really comes in as something quite different. It's coming in as a peppermint heading over towards a spiciness that really translates well. Now, in the past, I've thrown out marks for things. I'm going to change all that, because I'll tell you why. Essentially, price. Irish whiskey prices have just begun to go and get silly. Okay? People are asking quite a lot of money. People are asking for quite a lot of money for the new mixed spirit, because they know they can get it. Anything that's got a bit of age to it, they know they're getting a premium. Unfortunately, that always has to come down to the consumer, to the customer. And the customer's now having to pay quite a lot of money for product that is, I'm not going to say inferior or anything like that, but what I'm saying is you're having to pay a premium for something that's really not at that level of cost. Now, when you could go on to Amazon, and if you listen to the podcast on Wednesday, the 20th of January, because they'll all be available on Spotify. You can always catch up with them, folks. As Justin once said, they're like cockroaches. They'll be there to the end of time. We'll talk about delivery and getting your whiskey. If you're going to pay for a product that's £25, you go online, because at the minute people want to stay at home, COVID and all is running rampant. If you want to pay £25 for a bottle of whiskey, which is sort of your everyday drinking whiskey, you have a bit of choice. Unfortunately, in the Irish market at the minute, you kind of don't. You have the old standards, your Powers and Bushmills, Black Bush, that kind of standard. But the new ones coming out are more expensive, and because they have to buy in the product from other places and do it and work with it and buy the casks and so on and so forth. But some of them have started heading north of £40 a bottle, which to me puts it in a totally different category. You know, lots of people tell you it's just about the taste. It's just about the taste. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. The taste. I have tasted some marvellous whiskies that are just not something I could afford to buy, and that's just Me being totally honest, I can't afford to pay £400, £500, £600, north of £600 for a bottle of whiskey. I just can't afford it. Now, if you're talking something that's an entry level and a reasonable price, this, you expect to pay more for something like this. But how much more? Do you expect to pay £50, north of £50, £60, £70? This is running in just below £40 a bottle, there or thereabouts. Now, what are you getting for that? Well, you're getting a very good blended whiskey. Don't go down the route of saying malts are always better than blends, because that's just not true either. You're getting a very well blended whiskey. You're getting a really nice name. You're buying into a really up and coming brand. You're buying into the Rioja, the red wine cask finish, and it's something a little bit special. It is. I mean, for most people, this would be something above what they would normally buy. Most people are going to be buying their whiskies at £25, £30. That's what they'll be buying. So this is just below the £40 mark. Now, so from now on, we're going to put whiskies in a place and give it a price and give it a score. Give it place it in the price brackets and tell people what the price of it was when it was released. What it gets on these unbelievable secondary markets these days is up and down all over the place. So when it's released, what it cost, etc., etc., is it in that category? How does it compare with other whiskies in and around that category? And that's where I'm going to be putting my marks. Too many people just say, oh, it's all about flavour, it's all about flavour, it's all about flavour. That is true up to a point. Okay? If you don't like something, you don't like it. But that, you may not like something at £500 and really love something at 30. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to rate it in and around the marks where it sits, and we'll take it from there. Do comment below this and let me know whether you think that's a good idea or not, because I just think it's the way forward, rather than trying to do just a random score. Because someone challenged me and said, you give that the same score as you give a Middleton Very Rare. You scored it really highly. Well, it did score it really highly, and it was £35 a bottle. The bottle of Middleton Rare that I scored, now if you were buying it, is over £900. So I mean, in terms of price wise, I mean, it's not even. It's just. I mean, you'd nearly buy 30 bottles of one for the price of the other. So, Red Silkie, about approximately £40. Anything below £40 really is an entry level whiskey. Okay, anything below £40 is really. I'm not saying you're entry level, but it's a very affordable, easily purchased. Anyone who can pay £25, £30 for their favourite bottle can throw an extra £7, £8, £10 to it and spend a little bit more and get something like this. So this Red Silkie, I'm going to give this a very good 7.5 out of 10. Okay, if you could, and I think these are still available. I think these bottles are still available. There are some. Go and buy it online and get it. See if you can get it shipped, because there's a whole trade now about whether people will ship to various parts of the UK and Ireland. So, without further ado, see, there's now a nice toffee note to that. Now that it's sat a little while, really nice toffee note, like a toffee brittle. Yeah, really nice. Now, I'm going to just sign off. Stay safe and well. We're still in the grips of COVID. And welcome back. So, take care and listen in on Wednesdays, or catch up after Wednesday, and come and watch us on Saturday night. Irish Whiskey Review under Facebook, and Irish Whiskey Review on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, take care folks, bye bye.